Hello, guys. Welcome back to AWM FX. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, no matter where you are. Hopefully, you guys are earning a lot of money from the market, especially last week when the price of USD, the currency strength, has gained a lot of momentum, right? And then I saw that a lot of pairs with USD either it drops or it rises very, very heavily. So anyway, let's get into today's lesson. Today I will talk about supply and demand zone. All right, of course, this is the basic, or this is the things that I do. Uh, what my sharing are based on, right? And I have to give credit of this supply and demand zone is not by me, of course. It's by my mentor, one of my mentor, Cikgu Mansor. So I've been using this supply and demand zone quite well, and it works for me. All right, some of the supply and demand zone that I'm going to show you later, you guys might not agree with it, but it's okay because what you can see and what I can see might be different. But I'll just share because it works well for me. All right. So of course, I'm going to categorize into five different zone. All right, five different zone, and it's based on the most influence to the least influence zone. All right, so are you guys ready? So let's get started. All right, so first of all, let's look into the supply zone. All right, let's look into supply zone. So for me, all right, first we have to look at the first pattern and the second pattern. All right, the first pattern and the second pattern. Okay, for me to categorize a supply zone, it's important that there is a very small or should I say there is a bullish candlestick, then there is a very significant drop of a bearish candlestick, right? So if you look at the two zone over here, it's almost the same, but this is the most powerful supply zone, right? And definitely, if you saw this kind of pair, do take note because it might have some hidden message in it, right? You might go into smaller time frame to look into it because this is very, very, very powerful. All right, I have to repeat it three times. Very, very, very means that really very uh, powerful. All right, so important here is that how I zone my supply zone, right? How I do my supply zone. So usually this is how I do the open of the first candle towards the highest wick, right? Towards the highest wick. This is how I base, how I categorize or how I identify my zone, right? Some of you are out there of different guru or different YouTuber or whatever it is, you might do it this way. It's up to you, right? There is no right, there is no wrong. Right? As long you have backtested it and then you know what you're doing. Because whatever method that I'm using, I'm based on this kind of zoning. All right, I based on this kind of zoning. So for the second pair, the zone will be from the open of the body towards the highest wick. It's the same. All right, it's just that the different candle of wick, the highest wick it is. One is the on the bullish candle, the other one is on the bearish candle. Of course, this is the most powerful one. Then sometimes I have to give exceptional, right? Sometimes I do take note of the lower wick. If the lower wick is very, very small, right? Sometimes the wick will be very long. It might happen, right? Hopefully you guys agree. Sometimes if it is very, very short, almost like nothing, or almost like 5 to 10% of the whole body, then this will be my zone. This will definitely be my zone, right? But an important notes here, zone is zone. You have to add in your spread, right? Because I cannot tell you what is your spread. It's different broker provider and different currency pair have different spread. You have to add in your spread. So this is how I define my supply zone for the first and second uh, candlestick, pair of candlestick or group of candlestick. Then my third one will be something like this. Most of you see this kind of zone very how should I say very frequent. Okay, usually it will happen something like this. right? It will happen something like this. So this is a drop, base, drop, drop, base, drop. But the important note here is not about this candle. It's about these three candles. The important note here is that this, the third candle, has to be a very, very big drop that covers the two candlestick before. All right, the first and the second candlestick before. So this is how I identified the third zone, and it's quite important too. So if this is the case, where is your supply zone? How I categorize it? It will be from the open of the first body to the highest wick. All right. So here, the wick is the same. Then my question, of course, I sometimes give you questionnaire so that it trains you to be more alert. Okay. The first one, if what happens if this wick is higher? All right. So where is my zone? Same like before to the highest one. All right, to the highest point. So the zone will be like this. Then what happens if it's the other way around? Right? It's the other way around. Then the zone will be on the highest wick. All right, you get it? Hopefully you guys get it until now, because this is very important. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to practice identified supply and demand zone later. All right, so first three. 1, 2, 3. See, you have to see the difference. Know the where you put your wick, right? Where you place your zone on the body or on the wick, wherever it is. Similarly, for the first for the second sample, like the first, if it's short, I'll take note or two. Same with this. If it's short, I'll take note too. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Understand? So let's come to the third one. All right. This a lot of people don't agree, but it's the same. For me, this is supply zone. Right? Because if you look at this pattern over here, either before the candlestick is a bullish candlestick, then it will be this is a rally. Sorry, I suddenly have loss of word. This is rally base drop. All right, it's a rally base drop. Then this is supply zone. Right. Then what happens if it's another color? Let's assume that it's something like this. Then it will be drop base drop. So this is another supply zone. Right. So it's important to identify or to know how you see the supply zone. So in this case, the supply zone will be from the open of this first candle. All right, this first candle to the highest wick. All right, highest wick. If it's like this, then it will be like this. All right. If the second candlestick higher, then it will be like this. Guys, agree? All right, get it, get it. I don't need to agree. You have to get it. You have to be clear. Right? Everything that I share so long, for so many months, it is all based on this kind of movement. All right, simple. I want to make it simple for you guys. All right, so the last, all right, I'll say that it's not really that powerful, but it is still a supply zone. It's a rally base and then drop. All right. Now the difference with this and this is the first candle. If you look at the fourth example over here, the candlestick of the number one is actually engulfed by two candlestick combination. Combination means that if I combine these two candlestick, it will be similar like this. All right, it's similar like this. But however, for this, the difference is that the first candlestick can be very, very big. I mean, in ratio is definitely bigger than the rest, right? It can be very big. So what happens is that when the price do something like this, a rally, and then a doji or a spinning top. So if you guys do not know what is a doji, do not know what is a spinning top, you guys might need to check out babypips.com. All right, it's a very, very good website that gives you a lot of information, the basic of forex trading, a candlestick. All right, so if you look at it, this is a very big rise, a bullish candlestick. Then there is a doji, either a doji or a spinning top. Now, the question usually I got from this pairs or this pattern is that, is it important if this is blue color or green color, is a bullish spinning top? It does not matter. If it's a green or it's a red, it's the same, because this is the rally base drop. This is a rally base drop. So how I categorize the zone over here is that from the open to the highest point. All right. If this is the highest point, then it is. If this is the highest point, then it is. Then it will be like this. And if this is the highest point, then it will be like this. All right. So simple, very, very simple. This is how I categorize my supply zone. So let me zoom out a bit. Supply zone 5. Not more than that. Okay, whatever I do, day in, day out, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, there is a sequence of which is more important or which has the most impact on my trading. So that's all, 5. And similarly, for a demand zone, you just need to flip the chart, right? You need to flip the chart. It's the same. It's the same, right? So let me change the color. How about orange? Right, orange. So this is my demand zone, right? This is how I categorize my demand zone, right? I think I don't need to further explain it. It is the same with the supply, right? Because I have more important thing to share with you guys later. Same if this is higher, this is the lowest. Now, okay, supply and demand, of course, is different. We flip it around. Just now, we are looking for the highest point. For the demand zone, we are looking for the, anyone? Lowest point, correct? It's looking at the lowest point. So this is how I do my demand zone. So if this is, sometimes it might happen like this, right? Every time chart can be different, but you don't get confused. You have to be clear, right? Why the chart looks like this, right? So here, the supply zone, the demand zone will be like this. Whichever that is the lowest, right? Whichever that is the lowest point, then that is the whole zone. And if this point, the shadow is very small, I do take note. If it's very big, sometimes the shadow might be like this. It happens, right? Then I'll just ignore it. I will just ignore it. So let's continue. The 4th and the 5th pattern, right? Sometimes it might be red color. Red color means that now I need to explain everything to you guys, because the how should I say, the question that I got. Oh, what happened? I cannot move it. Right. The question that I got from you guys from the comment section was, sometimes I do not know how to answer. It's so basic, right? So whichever. Sorry, I think I cannot move to the. Yeah. So it's like that. All right. If it's red color, if it's green color on top, then the whole zone, whichever that is the lowest. So basic. This is the basic, of course. Can you trade? I repeat again. Can you trade based on just the supply and demand zone? It depends. All right. If I share some powerful method, that is that if you look at the structure is going down. All right, the structure is going down. You know the higher time frame is going down. So what you do is that you might go into M15 or M5 lower time frame and look for the zone. If it's going down, look for supply zone and keep selling from the supply zone. All right, and demand zone, you keep buying from the demand zone. If you really break the high and then it's in the higher time frame, it's going bullish. So it's so simple. But in higher time frame, it is more important if there is a significant support and resistance at the back. Right? Means that there supply and demand zone that breaks the support and resistance. That is the most powerful way of entry. Okay, get it clear? All right, so what I'm going to share next is how do you identify the supply demand zone and how can you practice, right? I can go into any chart. So for me here, I'm looking at a gold, all right? Uh, let's go into 4 hour. So what happens is that you can go into anywhere you want. So usually what I will tell my student, go to a place, a chart face like this, all right? Don't get it too small, just something like this, right? And you can start practicing. How do you practice it? Okay, just look at what I'm going to do. This is an important way of doing it. We call it mapping, all right? Mapping. So first of all, in this whole movement, I will need to identify the supply zone, right? The supply zone is the purple color. Let me change it back to the purple color. I need to identify all my supply zone, right? So from here, this will be my supply zone. All right. So how I end my supply zone when there is a price touching it, reacts. So my supply zone dead. It's dead. All right. All right. Supply zone from the top to the bottom. All right. Here I have a supply zone. I go all the way until okay, the price go through a bit. Dead. Supply zone. Supply zone. Supply zone. Supply zone. Usually like this, right? I will take not only this part because it's too small. I will just increase it. All right, so supply zone. And then there is a supply zone, but something happens over here. Does not matter. So once I'm done, okay, this is all the supply zone I got from this movement. Of course, the next thing I can do the next move on the next movement. So what can you see over here, right? So wherever there is a supply zone, you can see the price reacts. All right, it either touch. There are only three things the price will usually do. First is that it touch and then reject, which we want. All right, which we want. Second thing is that the price will touch, break, and then continue going up again. There is definitely a break somewhere. All right, and then the third thing that we usually will happen is that sometimes it will touch and then it will protrude, but then it also rejects. All right, means that the price will go through and then rejects also. Right, so if you can see properly how we identify this supply zone, it's very, very obvious. The price respect the supply zone, but just this is the point. Every supply zone is different. The power of the supply zone is also different. Similar with the demand. Okay, we're not talking about demand right now. So this, from what we can see right here, this is what we do it as a mapping. We need to know how the price move and how the price react. Right? This is very important in our confirmation, which I will share. Today I'm going to share a lot. I'm not going to hide anything. Actually, in fact, I'm not hiding anything. I'm going to share everything for you today. Because last few days, I was attending another seminar, online course. And I learned a lot of things. As a human being, we are here to contribute. We are here to make a world better day. The world better, all right? Makes everyone have a better day. So today I'm going to share whatever I know about this to you guys. So, of course, there is another supply zone. Sorry for that. So if you look at it, the price tend to react on this supply zone. So this is very, very important. Now, let's think about it. This is H4. So what happens if it's on H1 or M30 or M15 or M5? Isn't it this zone example, this zone over here? If I go into small time frame, there might be another supply zone. Supply zone within a supply zone. All right. So when there is something happen, that's how I do my sniper entry. All right, and not only that, I can get the best of this movement. Even it's a very short movement down, I can get the best because I already have my risk reward ratio very, very ideal, ideal. All right, very ideal. So you guys understand about this? This is how I do my mapping. Now let's do some demand zone on the movement. All right, orange color. So demand zone. Here we have a demand zone. Right. All this demand zone or supply zone, I base on the things that I teach. And for me, it works very well. Can you see? It works very, very well. Sometimes the demand zone like this, the price tend to ignore. Why? Why? Of course, if you look at it properly, this is a small QML. In small time frame, this is a QML, and this is the price where this is the demand zone that breaks the previous SSR. Can you see it? Instead of this one. So what else we have? Over here, yes, price ignore, no problem. And it over here, and then not much. Then we have this. All right. So I'll drag until some price react. Right. This is how the price moves. Yeah, of course, have this. Why the price reject? Why? There must be some reason, right? There must be some reason. This, I have this over here, and then I still have a lot of those minor one which I already ignore. Over here. All right, so this is a few example that I show you. The importance of mapping. You must know how to do your mapping about a supply and demand zone. All right. Now, you know what is your supply and demand zone. You know how to do your mapping, right? The next step, how you do your confirmation. All right. I'm not going to show you any example, but I'm going to show you the basic of it. Right. It's very, very simple. All right. So first of all, let's assume that we have some normal zigzag movement. And when the price comes back to this area over here, color, most of us will hope that the price will react at this point and it will drop, right? So how do you do confirmation? Of course, there is a lot of things you can do right here. First is, of course, I already told you guys about the this is actually is SBR, support become resistant. It has to be a clean break. Then it has to be a very sharp movement over here, or should I say sharp rejection. And then that has to be SSR. If it is, the more SSR is, the better it is. Then look at the point. Look at the supply and demand zone over here. Same thing with what happened, what example that I showed you just now from this point. All right, something like this. This for this is supply zone that breaks the resistance, the support line. So it's very important. So now confirmation. This is the last part that I want to teach you, confirmation. Let's assume that this is a H1. All right. What you can do is that you go into a higher time frame. All right. Let's say it's H4, and make sure that it's something like this. All right. Not to say make sure. Look at it, then you know. This is the green movement. Right. Sorry for that. Please bear with me. This is the green movement that represents this rise. Right. there is a red movement or the bearish candle that represent this drop. Then what happened next? You will see something like this. You will see something like this. Drop, base, drop in higher time frame. And this is what? Let's get this out. This is what? And get this out. Let's look at these two patterns. What is this? This is the supply zone that I talked about. The first two supply zone. So you get it? Alright, sometimes it may not be like this. Alright, sometimes it might be like this. It might look like this. Then what is this? The supply zone that I talked about. Can you see it? Higher time frame. This is at the higher time frame. So this is your confirmation. Alright, of course, if you do use based on the confirmation, you have to trade for different color. Okay, based on the confirmation, your zone is very big, right? So what we'll do is that here, once we have identified the, how should I say, the big zone, then we look for anything smaller, anything that how should I say that a loss of words suddenly, that obeys our rule of supply zone that breaks the support line or demand zone that breaks the resistance line. All right, so you get the idea or not? From small time frame, you go into bigger time frame, you get the confirmation. You get your confirmation. All right, you get your confirmation. I'm drawing this very, very simple, very clear. I'm trying my best to show you guys everything. Everything is on this chart. This is how I trade supply and demand, and I'll trade SBR, RBS. Very, very simple. A lot of people will tell me about how about the trend line or those. No. That is not for me. Okay. Some people works well with trend line, but not for me. I have to be honest, except for tree drive. The only trend line base of trading that I use is tree drive. The tree drive at the last leg. Other than that, if you look at it, this is how I trade. I base on higher time frame supply and demand. All right, got it? Got it? This is for the down, and the up will be just flip the chart around. It's the same. Of course, the color will be different. This will be the green, and then this will be the red color. All right, simple. Simple, isn't it? Or am I explaining it too simple for you guys? All right, so I think the video is quite long for today. This is the longest video I've done. And hopefully you guys really enjoy what I'm sharing today. All right, it's all the basic. Don't get complicated. Always come back to the basic. All right, once you get confused, go back to the basic. Because a lot of us do not let go of our previous knowledge. Sometimes you need to let go. I'm not condemning anyone. Sometimes you have to let go. One of the reasons is that you do not know the previous knowledge, does it works or not. All right, and everything has to be based on your effort of practice. Okay, similarly, like a soccer player, or we call it football player, you need to practice a lot, even for the penalty. All right, you need to practice a lot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and give me a like. Please give me a like and do subscribe to this channel. I will share as much case study as possible, and then as much education, because I'm still growing. I won't stop growing. I'm still growing, and whatever knowledge that I know that I really can master, only I share. Sometimes a lot of how should I say, some of the syllabus or knowledge shared by my mentor that I cannot master, I'm not willing to share that, because myself, I also do not know how I'm going to share with you. I have to be responsible to you guys that is watching my videos, right? All right, so I think I'm quite long-winded today. That's all for today. So see you guys next time. Bye.